Hello, good morning, everyone. So today I am coming to you with the Monday Mindset Motivation, and the topic of the day is fresh start. Now, there are so many instances in our lives when we desire to have a fresh start, and it can be very frustrating when life hits you, when Murphy keeps knocking you upside the head, and you feel as though things are not going the way that you'd want them to go, and you just feel the need to start a clean sheet. Ever so often you hear someone saying, I want to start a clean slate, or I want to turn a new leaf. John Locke, in his philosophy on social construct, he speaks of it in the context of tabula rasa. When a baby is just born, that baby is a blank slate. They are not corrupted by anything. They are not tarnished. They are a blank slate, and they are basically susceptible to any sort of extraneous variable affecting them. So that's the same context that I want to allude to as I refer to us wanting a fresh start. And there are many things in our lives that may evoke that need or that change that you would so much desire. For example, when you experience a sense of loss, or if you're operating from a place of scarcity or lack, or if it is that you have a fear of failure, if you actually experience failure, these are three major instances in which one may desire to have a fresh start. And the point is that for me, every day when I wake up, I feel like I have an opportunity for a fresh start. And the reason for that is, no matter what happened the day before, you cannot change the fact that you have to experience a new day. And as long as you're alive, you have the ability to basically make the best of that day. So why should you dwell on the day that has already passed when you have the opportunity to plan afresh and to embark on the new day with a new perspective? So today I'm just going to talk about the three main points that I mentioned earlier, namely the main things that may evoke that need for a fresh start. And the first thing is a sense of loss. The second thing is a sense of lack, or if you're operating from a place of scarcity. And the third thing is if you experience failure. So I'm going to deal with the first one, which is a sense of loss. And many people have experienced loss in one way or another. One of the most common ways is if you lose a loved one, if you lose a spouse or a parent or a really good friend or even a child. It is sometimes so difficult to pick up the pieces and continue with life after that. And I am not standing here saying that I understand fully. I can empathize, but as it relates to that, I cannot necessarily identify with losing someone very, very close to me. Thank God for that. But I know that many people have experienced that, and I know that it's very difficult for such persons to basically move on with their lives. And the truth is that in many instances, you have other children or other family members or other people who are depending on you to be strong and to carry on. And I know it's very difficult. But what you have to realize is that as long as you're here, as long as you have breath in you, you still have the ability to move on from a major tragedy. There are many people who have experienced tragedies in their lives, and they have found ways to move on beyond that. And if it is that you don't find it within yourself that it's possible for you to do that, then maybe you can learn a thing or two from these people. And it is not easy, but as I've always said, it is not about what is easy, but it's about what is possible. In life, we always tend to conflate the two, and if something doesn't appear easy, we always throw in the towel prematurely and say that, well, maybe we cannot do it because it's not easy. But life is not about being easy. Life is about about things being possible, and as long as there is possibility, then you're capable of basically overcoming any sort of adversity, irrespective of how insurmountable it may appear. As long as there is a possibility, it means that you can become the victor. The other instance in which people may feel that desire to have a clean slate, to start a new leaf, is where you have experienced some sort of failure. Now, that's probably one of the most common ones. In fact, some people fear failure, and because of that, they do not even act. But today I want to focus on the people who have actually experienced failure. What I want to tell you is that, and it may sound pedantic because it's something that you should know already. However, many times we act as if we don't know. So what I want to tell you and remind you of today is that failure is inevitable. You are going to experience failure whether or not you want to and whether or not you like it. As it has often been said, If you fail 1 or 2 or 3 times, you're running about average, because that is what happens to the ordinary person. And in fact, some of the most successful people that you know have failed so many times, and the failure has become a part of their stories, because a lot of times it's in failing that you learn most of what you know. So yes, you can desire the need for a fresh start, but the experience of failure should not prevent you from going for your goals. And guys, if you can hear me, just please send me some thumbs up, because I'm actually doing things a little bit differently right now, so I'm not sure if you're hearing me, so I'd love for you to just let me know. Okay, thank you so much for that indication. So as I was saying, if you experience failure, that may be one reason why you may want to throw in the towel and say that, well, it's just going to be this way all the time. But you know what? That's not what life is about. And I'm going to allude to something that is very current, that a lot of persons watching right now might be aware of. And that is the World Championship race in London between Justin Gatlin and Usain Bolt. Now, as we know, Usain Bolt has become a household name. And so hopefully everyone on this broadcast at the moment, and those who will watch later, are aware of who Usain Bolt is, and Justin Gatlin for that matter. Now, I use this particular example because 1, it is current, and 2, because I think it is a stellar example to use in this case. Now, as you know, Usain Bolt has led a remarkable career over the past more than a decade. He has been consistent. He started out a little shaky, but once he picked up that momentum and was successful at the sport, he was consistent all this time. This man has been nothing short of amazing, and for me, I really identify with his grit. I love it, and it is someone I respect a lot, because it's not just that he's good at the race, but he's very charismatic, he's very caring, he's just a whole human being, someone that you can aspire to be like. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we have Justin Gatlin, who is also excellent at the sport, but as you know, there were the scandals when he was accused of doping and in fact found guilty. Not once, but twice. And so in a sense, Justin Gatlin became blacklisted amongst us. And people who really love the sport, people who are passionate about track and field, they felt as though he was a disappointment. And a lot of people have not even to this day been able to forgive him. So much so that even though he won the race over Usain Bolt, people still feel as though he doesn't deserve it because of his past. That's one of the things that we do as human beings that I think is very debilitating. It is that we judge people based on their past, and for some reason we cannot move beyond that. But the fact is that none of us are infallible. We're all fallible beings. And what that means is that we're always going to mess up. We're always going to hurt somebody. We're always going to do something, make mistakes. And we hope within ourselves that people will forgive us and people will over time forget. So why is it that when it's someone else, we act as though we are holier than thou? And I say we because I am guilty of it as well. And every day I try to become a better person. So it's something I'm cognizant of and something I'm working on. But the point I'm making is that, in a way, I am proud of Justin Gatlin. I am Jamaican, and I am Jamaican first and foremost. I love Usain Bolt. And many persons know that I've written several articles about Usain Bolt, and I've spoken about him several times. I really love Usain Bolt. I love his commitment. I love his dedication. I love his perseverance. I love his grit. But what I'm saying is that Justin Gatlin must also be praised, be highlighted for his prowess at the sport and his perseverance and his endurance. And I think it is an apt example because, like I said, a lot of people face failure and they were never able to recover from it. Sometimes the failure is so humongous that it is so hard for you to recover. Some people spend a very long time trying to regain their composure, regain their balance, and some people never do. Justin Gatlin could have said, you know what, I am getting older, there is a star in the sport that seems unbeatable, I'm just going to give up. But this gentleman never stopped. And I think there's a remarkable story to learn from Justin Gatlin because it shows you that even when everybody turns their backs on you, even when the people you care about don't believe in your dream and don't support it, do not give up. Don't give up, because what you will realize is that when you endure and when you persevere and when you become the victor in the end, people are going to look at you. There are those people who are going to look at you and they cannot help themselves but to become respectful of you. They might not like you. They might still dislike you, but they cannot help respecting you because they realize what caliber of human being you are. They realize how much strength you have and how much how big is your ability to endure? So I think we can learn something from Justin Gatlin in this case, in that he did not allow the failure to become him. You see, that's the difference between someone like that and some of us who allow failure to become us. We allow our circumstances to define us. We mess up one time, and then all of a sudden we start to think that that's how we are. But as human beings, that's going to happen because, like I said, we are not infallible. So we are going to mess up over and over and over. Justin Gatlin may even mess up again. And of course, I'm not trying to overshadow Usain Bolt because, like I said, I really love Usain Bolt, and the way how he dealt with coming third in that race is just nothing short of remarkable. The way he congratulated Justin, you could just see the emotion on Usain Bolt's face, that he was so proud of Justin Gatlin. And it takes a remarkable human being to do that. I think that was a time in history that should be noted, and both gentlemen should be praised for their prowess at the sport, one, and just for their overall penitence, for their overall humility in the sport. Let us not get hung up anymore on the fact that Justin Gatlin messed up in the past, but let us focus on how, over time, over a very long period of time, he persevered and emerged the victor. So I think that was a really good example to use to show you that even though you may feel the need for a fresh start after experiencing failure, that it is not possible for you to move beyond that and to overcome it. And don't bother to get bogged down by time. A lot of times we put a time stamp on things and we say, okay, if I don't get over this by X time, I'm just going to throw it in. It's not for me. Sometimes that's not it. Sometimes you need to open your eyes to other things. It's not that it's not for you, but it may be that you're just not doing something right. And sometimes you just need to be shaken up. You need to start asking the universe for what you want. And you need to become alert so that when you get that response, you're ready to step into it. Because one thing I can tell you, once you ask, you will get. I believe in the 3 simple steps of ask, believe, and receive. I believe that. So the day I die, I will believe that. Because I have asked for what I wanted, and I have received it time and time again. So I know that it's possible. The final point that I want to make as it relates to instances in which individuals may feel the need for a fresh start. Already I have gone over a sense of loss, and I've gone over failure, and the final thing is a sense of lack or scarcity. Now sometimes, our circumstances are such, we're in such dire straits, we find ourselves in such dire circumstances that we may feel like because we're lacking certain amenities or certain resources, that we cannot really take a step further toward the accomplishment or the attainment of our dreams. But that again is another lie that we tell to our subconscious mind, that I want to dispel that notion. It's not about where you start, but it's about how much you want to get out of the starting block, and by extension, where you go from there. Your starting point does not have to determine how you live the rest of your life. And it's really sad that some people don't even get the opportunity necessarily to do that, to make something of themselves, but you are still here. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop allowing your circumstances to become the better of you. You need to start adjusting your thoughts. You need to have more positive thoughts. You need to have more abundant thinking. You need to take that on. Because when you think in terms of your situation, in terms of scarcity, in terms of lack, you are never going to be able to send a clear message to the universe about what you want. And there are many things that you could feel a lack as it relates to, for example, support. You may feel like you don't have support. Sometimes you exist in a family, or you have a set of friends who just expect you to do a certain things. Oh, you've always been good at that. That's what I see you doing. And yes, sometimes they mean well. But if you don't feel like that's what you should be doing, why are you becoming frustrated and bogged down by someone else's suggestion? So what if you branch off onto something that you feel deep within your heart, and they decide not to support you? Are you going to allow the fact that they don't support you on your dream that you want for yourself to prevent you from pursuing that dream? That is what happens when you find so many people living vicariously, or allowing other people to live vicariously through them, because they're fulfilling someone else's dreams as they live their life, because they don't want to anger people. They don't want to upset people. So they start living someone else's dreams. Sometimes our parents had dreams for themselves and they didn't get to fulfill them, so they tried to live through you. And I know we love our parents and we want them to be happy, but trust me, when you go for the goal, when you go for the jugular and you put everything that you have into it, Your parents who love you will have no choice than to be proud of you and to support you. So yes, you might not feel like you have the support now, but do not let go of your desires. Do not let go of your dreams, because those are the things that are going to make you feel fulfilled, and those are the things that are going to make you feel joy. And I guess this is a good point for me to distinguish between joy and happiness. A lot of people, again, conflate those two words, thinking it's the same thing. We can use them interchangeably. And no doubt there are contexts in which you can use them interchangeably. But I'm telling you, joy and happiness are two different things. And you know that song, it says joy and happiness. If it was the same thing, then it wouldn't be saying and happiness. Otherwise, you could read it to say happiness and happiness, or joy and joy. And that's not what it means. It's two different things. Happiness is external, and it fluctuates based on the circumstances, based on things that you experience. So you could start your day feeling happy, and something happens and it just affects your whole mood and throws off your momentum. But joy comes from within, and it is sustainable. And I always aim for the zenith. So I aim for joy. And I want you to do the same thing too. And the only time you're going to really feel joy is when you know that you're living your truth. You're living your purpose. And you actually have to be authentic. You're authentic when you go for what you know deep within your heart you should be doing. And stop focusing on the fact that, okay, I don't have the support from the people I need. Or if I choose to do this, they're not going to pay for it. Let me tell you, there is no one way to pay for anything. No matter how it seems like there's just one way, sometimes if you were to explore, you'd find that there are 5, 10 ways to pay. When I went to college, I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. But I started nonetheless. And once I started, then my eyes were open to the fact that so many generous donors and people are out there giving scholarships. And all you needed was to get a certain GPA. And even though I was not coming from the best high school or whatever, by the time I got to college, that was history. Because my conclusion was that if I got in, then I could get the requisite GPA to get some scholarships. And of course I did. I got several scholarships throughout college, not because I was smarter than anyone else, but because I realized what needed to be done, and I applied myself. And I'm saying you can do the same thing too. It is not beyond you. Stop assessing your abilities based on other people. Many times that's where we go wrong. We watch what other people are doing and we say, oh, I cannot do that as well as that person. That might be true, but guess what? There is something else that you can do better than that person just the same. I never had a problem with English in school. English was my favorite subject. It was so easy for me. I didn't have to study. I didn't have to do anything. I just aced it all the time. But math, I used to always joke that the only thing I know about numbers is to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, and to count my money. In a way, I still feel that way these days, but that's an aside. The point I'm making is that I was not good at math, and I accepted that. And I did the best I could so that I would pass, and I got through. And I didn't have a problem with the students who were excellent at math, because we all have our strengths in different areas. Stop assessing yourself based on other people and focus on your strengths and become the best person that you can be. Become the best version of yourself, because as long as you're alive, that is possible. So for those persons who are just joining us, I was talking about the main instances in which individuals may feel the need or the desire for a fresh start. And the first one that I went over is when you experience loss, you may feel the desire to just turn a new leaf. The second thing is when you experience failure, or because of your fear of failure, you may feel the need for a fresh start just to get you beyond that situation that you fear so much. Or because you have failed, or you feel like you have failed so many times, you just want to start a new leaf because life just seems to be hitting you upside the head all the time. And the final point that I mentioned today is another instant in which individuals may feel the need for a fresh start is when you're experiencing lack. So for example, if you come from a really poor family and you feel like there are so many opportunities but you cannot take advantage of any of them because of your financial circumstances or lack thereof. So because of that, and pun intended, so because of that, you may feel like you wish you just wake up tomorrow and things would be different, that you would just get really lucky and someone would help you with some amenities and some resources. And these are three main instances in which you may feel the need to start a new leaf, to turn a new page, to have a fresh start. And I'm saying to you today, ladies and gentlemen, that there is nothing wrong with that desire. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you get that desire to start to have a fresh start, don't just wait in perpetuity for that to happen. Start looking for ways. Because sometimes you have to create your fresh start. Because you know the life that you want. You have a dream and you know your story. So I am saying to you, write your own script starting today. Every day presents an opportunity for a fresh start. Today has already started. If you feel like the week hasn't started the way how you want it, is the second day in the new week, it's fine. You still have another 5 solid days to go. So you need to take a minute out of today, out of your lunch time or your break time or whatever downtime you have, and plan out the rest of your week. You know, I am very big on planning because I feel like when you plan and you have goals, it gives you a sense of direction and you are more likely to succeed than not. So I'm very big on that, and I'm saying that if you feel like your week is not going the way you want it to go, it may be because you don't have a set plan and you're just playing it by ear. So I'm saying at this time, it's not too late. Take a few minutes and just plan your week. Like Earl Nightingale says, you should not start your week until you finish it. And what it means is that plan it before you start it. Trust me, ideas will come to you. I believe in the law of attraction. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the love. I believe in the law of attraction. And when you start thinking positively, when you start planning, when you start thinking big, the universe will send like-minded people to you. The universe will start responding to you, but it starts with you. I cannot motivate you. I can only empower you because motivation comes from within you. Find it, live it, because it's possible for you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for joining me for another Monday Mindset Motivation. I know, corny, yes, but I like it, so I'm going to keep it. Monday Mindset Motivation. It has a nice ring to it, and I'm going to keep it. So I thank you all for joining me for this segment. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Shauna-Kaye Brown, my name. And also to my website, www.shaunakayelbrown.com. When I finish this broadcast, I will attach those in the bio. Feel free to leave your comments and suggestions as usual. And you know, before I go guys, there's something I must mention. I don't know if you can hear the excitement in my voice, but I am so excited because guess what? You remember that book I've been talking about? The one I did the audio on Saturday? Yes. Less than 24 hours away. Tomorrow the book will be launched. I am so excited and I thank you guys so much for your support. I'm reminding you guys, I'm going to also remind the specific persons who responded when I get off this broadcast that tomorrow is the launch date and it is imperative that you purchase the book on launch date because that's the only day it's going to be available for the paltry sum of 99 cents. That's unbeatable. For a book this powerful, 99 cents is unbeatable. The book is called Courageous World Catalyst and on launch date, it will be available in Kindle format on Amazon.com. And you don't need a Kindle device to be able to read the book. You just need a computer or another electronic device such as an iPhone or an Android device. And you can download the Kindle app and read away. And I'm telling you, it's a very powerful book. We have shared our stories in terms of hope given us. I apologize for that momentary lapse. And I just want you guys to be a part of that. And again, this is a great week. Don't forget to plan for the rest of the week. I'm going to get right to your comments as soon as I'm done with this broadcast. But thank you ever so much for your continued